Good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in once again to another one of my videos. In today's video, I want to discuss something with you guys that I think is completely the most important thing that you should understand no matter what it is you decide to do with your life, whether you decide to become a doctor, a lawyer, or you choose to just be an employee at your workplace, or you plan to start your own business, or what it is that you plan to do. I think that today's topic is probably one of the most important videos that I will ever put out. And I'm going to try to cover the most important aspects of what this is, but I may not cover everything because I only know so much about this, but I want to teach you what I know because I'm learning more and more about these two things the more I go along. And what today's video is about debt and taxes, and I actually spoke about this in my last video if you watched it, where I did a video with Lizette, my girlfriend, and in that video I told you guys I was going to talk to you about debt and taxes. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit first about debt, and then I'll explain a little bit about taxes. Okay, so what I want to tell you first about is debt. Okay, when we think about debt, normally we associate it as something bad, right? Excuse me, you think of debt as something bad. So for example, when you say you get into debt, either you go buy a car, you buy a house, you go get a credit card, and let's say you buy a computer with it or something, you spend $500 from a store, and you put that $500 in your name with that credit card, and now you're in debt. So then you're spending the rest of your life trying to pay off all these credit cards and all this bad debt that you have, right? So most of us, again, associate debt as something bad. But what if I told you, and many people probably don't know about this, but if you do, great. But a lot of people don't, and this is what my videos are designed to, they're designed to help those people that don't know about these things. So there is something called good debt, and I know it completely goes against what you've been taught in school. Everybody tells you that you don't ever want to be in debt, try to get out of debt. But what if I said that there is something such as good debt? Okay, and what good debt is where you can actually put yourself in debt, right? You can put yourself in debt, simply such as investing into a property. You can go and buy a property like a house, for example, and you can put yourself in debt, buying that house, for example, rent it out to somebody else. That person pays you whatever rent that you charge. You pay the bank, for example. You pay the bank because the bank owns the house, but it's under your name. You're renting it to somebody else, and you pocket whatever's left after maintenance and other expenses, whatever needs to be done with the house. You pocket the rest of the money. That's something that a lot of investors do. That's something that I'm going to be starting to learn to do. I want to learn to invest into real estate. Okay, so that's an example of what good debt is. And if you ever heard this before, some rich entrepreneurs out there actually say that the key to getting rich is to put yourself as far into debt as possible. How does that make sense? Because when I grew up, and I just only had a job, and my parents were not rich. I didn't know anybody who was trying to become an entrepreneur. I didn't have any influence at all. No one ever taught me this, and we're all taught this in school. We're all taught to, go to school, go get a job, get out of debt, pay taxes. What else are we taught in school? So that's a little something that I want to tell you guys about debt, that there is something called good debt, okay? So there's bad debt and there's good debt, all right? So what I want to talk about now is taxes. Why is it important to know about taxes, and what do rich people do differently than poor people do when it comes to taxes? Okay, so basically, something I want you to understand that a lot of people don't think about is we all know to pay taxes. We're taught, you got to pay your taxes. We think about people like, rich entrepreneurs like Jeff Bezos at Amazon, or all these rich companies, and then when people start to find out, if you've seen those articles that go around saying oh, Amazon's going to make $450 billion this year, but they're not going to pay a single penny in tax. Do you know why? Do you know why they're not going to pay tax? Do you think that they're just evading from paying taxes? No, they're not. There's a loophole in the tax system this tax system is set up for everybody, not just rich entrepreneurs, not just business owners. It's set up for everybody, whether you're an employee, you're a specialist, and you're like a doctor or something, a surgeon, a business owner, a big business owner, an investor, entrepreneur, whatever you are. There is a tax system set in place where you can take advantage of what they call tax incentives. And a tax incentive is something where the government wants they want everybody to basically create things for the economy. For example, build homes, build a school, build a hospital, create jobs, build a business to create jobs for people. Now the government wants you to do this. They want everybody to do this, but obviously the poor people don't have as much money to put in. So usually the people that you see doing this who don't pay taxes are the rich, are those business owners, and they make so much money that they can pay incentive money to the government to build homes or build schools or build, whatever it is that the government is saying needs to be built. If you do what the government says, they will give you tax breaks. They will give you huge tax breaks, huge tax incentives, where you can literally not pay anything in tax. And it's set up that way for everybody. And that's why I say that I think this video is so important to understand. And if you don't know anything about this, like I said, I'll go over it as much as I possibly can. But I think that this is something that everybody should go research. Go look it up for yourself. Because at the end of the day, if you can learn how to eliminate bad debt and turn it into good debt, and if you can learn to not pay any taxes legally, this is not illegal, this is legal. Excuse my phone. This is legal. If you can learn to not pay taxes, you can have more money in your pocket. Okay? So, let's see what I was going to go over here. Here's something I wanted to talk about a little bit too. Was assets versus liabilities. This kind of ties into that. So rich people buy what are called assets. Assets put money in your pocket. Liabilities take money out of your pocket. So for example, an asset could be something like investing into a business, investing into a home, like I was saying earlier, buying a home, renting it out to somebody else, paying the bank, and then you get whatever's left, right? That would be considered an asset. It's something that puts money in your pocket. Liabilities take money out of your pocket. A car, your house, credit cards, whatever it is that you buy, anything that you buy for yourself that doesn't put money in your pocket is a liability, okay? So that's something to understand too, is that, if you can learn to understand debt and taxes, like I said with debt, if you can learn about debt and how to purchase assets that put money into your pocket, instead of buying liabilities, we're all taught to buy liabilities. We're all taught to buy a car, buy a house, buy all these things that just take money from us all the time, just taking money from us. And then on top of that, we're taught to pay taxes. But nobody tells you the loopholes where you can legally not pay taxes. You just need to learn what those are. And here's how you learn. I can teach you a relative amount of information, but I won't teach you everything. What we all need, and this is what I talk about in all my videos, if you don't like what you do, you hate your job, you're not happy with where you're going in your life, and you want to change it, and you want to do something bigger with your life, my videos are not here to motivate you. My videos are here to give you enough information to open your mind to the possibility of something new, to help you understand that there is something more out there, okay? So what you need to do is you need to get yourself a financial education. School will not teach you this. Going to college will not teach you this. This is why I believe that I personally think college is a waste of time depending on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to go to school to become a a lawyer or something, then okay, you got to go to school to become a lawyer. But at the end of the day, you're still you know, more than likely, depending on what choice or what category you go into when you choose to go to college, you're going to be working for a company. You're going to be an employee at the end of the day. Some people become self-employed and do their own thing, but a lot of people become employees because that's what schools are designed to do. They're not designed to teach you about money. Schools don't teach you that, so you can't learn that. So where do you learn? That's the big question. Here's what I can tell you from my experience is there's a lot of people out there that are willing to teach you. Are you going to have to pay for it? Sure, you will have to pay for it. There is some free information you can get online. A lot of mine I've learned from YouTube. I've done some researching online on different articles and stuff like that to get all the information that I got. But the information is out there, and you can obtain a lot of it for free. Somebody I recommend is Robert Kiyosaki. I actually, a lot of the stuff that I tell you guys, I learned from him. He actually has a tax advisor that he works with as well. If you guys want to look him up, his name is Tom Wheelwright. And Tom Wheelwright he knows everything about taxes. He will teach you anything that you need to know. And he'll make you understand that taxes and debt are the most important thing you need to understand when it comes to making money. Because at the end of the day, both of those things only take money from you. But if you can learn to not let them take money from you, imagine how much more money you could have in your pocket right now. That's the point. That's the point of this video, is there are ways to get out of both of those. There's ways to get out of them. But you'll only get out of them if you have the financial education that you need. Okay? So go and look those people up. Tom Wheelwright actually has a book. I actually plan to get it. It's called Tax-Free Wealth. So go check out that book from him. I'm very interested in learning about it because these are things that you need to understand if you want to make more money, and not only make more money, but hold on to your money. Because like I said, debt and taxes are more important than understanding money. Okay? And here's somewhat of a reason why. Okay? There's 3 types of income. Most of us only know of one. That's going to work and getting paid for the work that you do. That's called earned income. Earned income is one of 3 types of income that you can make. Most of us don't know about the other 2. I just learned about the other 2 not too long ago. Okay? Second type of income is portfolio income. Portfolio income is income, for example, like what I do. If you guys haven't seen, I sell on eBay. So I buy something, and I've taught you guys this in my very first couple videos about selling things. So if you buy something like what I do, for example, this pen. I buy this pen for, let's say, $1, right? And I sell this pen for $5. So when I profit $4, that's portfolio income. Excuse me, you buy something cheap, sell it for more. That's portfolio, okay? And then the third and final income is the most important probably income that you should learn to start creating, because it is the only income that will ever make you something 24/7 and you don't have to do anything to make it. That's called passive income. I'm sure many people have heard of passive income. Some people say passive income isn't real. Some people say it's a hoax. It is real. Passive income is a term that is used for money, cash flow coming in consistently from something. So, for example, like I talked about earlier, I want to learn to invest in real estate. I want to learn to, buy a house and rent it out to somebody else and make money off of that after I pay the bank. I pay the bank, I make money off of the house. I want to learn to do that, okay? So that is a form of passive income, and there's lots of other things, mainly the people that get involved in passive income are rich investors, like people on Shark Tank. Those are usually the people, like when you watch that show, if you don't understand how it works, when those people come onto the show and all those people and the sharks are lined up there waiting for you to present an idea to them, They are looking to see if you have the next big idea, obviously, but when they invest money into you, you're going to make them money back. So they're going to make more money off of your investment. And not only are they going to just make money back, they're going to make consistent money for the rest of their lives. That's cash flow. That's passive income. That's what I'm learning to do right now. I'm learning to make passive income. Okay? So I wanted you guys to understand that before I go into this next thing. I wanted you to kind of, get an idea that there are 3 types of income. Okay? So here's something I'm going to show you guys. As I said before, there's a man named Robert Kiyosaki. He actually talks about what I'm going to show you right now. What he calls it is the cash flow quadrant. I'm not going to completely copy it the same way that he does it. But I'm going to kind of show you guys, give you an idea of what this is. And the cash flow quadrant talks about there's four types of people in the world of business or the economy. Okay, there's 4 types of people. The first person, I'm going to put it here on this paper for you. Hopefully it's clear enough. Is E. E stands for employee. So these are people that go to get a job at Target or something, or wherever they decide to work. That's an employee. Okay, that's the majority of us. It's probably 70-80% of the people in the world or more. Okay, so the next person is S. S stands for specialist. Okay, and what specialist is that's those people who go to college, get a degree. They get a degree in become a doctor or something, or they become a whatever, scientist or whatever, lawyer, those kinds of things you go to college for. Okay, so that's employee and specialist. The next person is B. Okay, B stands for big business. So I'm talking people like Amazon, Apple, eBay, all these big companies that have 500 plus employees. So if you have more than 500 employees, you'd be considered a big business. Okay, so that's big business. And then the last person, finally, is I for investor. Okay, investor. So these are like the people like I said on Shark Tank. Okay, so I'm going to show you something about taxes here now. Okay, so employees will generally, the amount that you will generally pay as an employee is 40% tax. Hopefully you can see that. 40% tax is what an employee will generally pay, right? So then people tell you, oh, well, you want to learn to make more money, go to college and become a doctor, okay? So now you become a self-employed doctor working for yourself. Nobody tells you what to do. But look at this. Now you pay 60% tax. So if you were, pay 40% tax as an employee, and let's say you make $50,000 a year gross as an employee, right? So you're going to pay about 40% tax. So let's say in the end, net, you're not even making $50,000 a year. You're making maybe 35, 30, something like that, right? About half, roughly about half. Specialists or doctors, the self-employed people, they actually pay more in tax. They pay 60%. So think about this for a minute. How does it make sense to be, for starting out as an employee, having somebody tell you, go to college, get a degree, put yourself in more debt, bad debt, right? It could be good, it could be bad. And then you end up becoming a specialist, and you end up, becoming a doctor or something. Excuse me. And now you're making, let's say $120,000 a year as a doctor, right? But here's the problem. You're paying that, you're in that 60% tax bracket. So you're not really making $120,000 a year. You're making $50,000 a year, which is what you technically made gross as an employee. So how does that make sense to do that? Like, that's insane to tell somebody to do that now, if you really think about it. Go to college and get a degree as a doctor, because you're only going to pay 60%, roughly about 60% in taxes, right? Now here's where it gets interesting, and this is what I want you to understand and think about. As a big business, they pay, on average, 20%. Okay, sorry if it's a little hard to see, my marker's kind of drying out. 20%, right? They pay about 20% tax. Why? Why do big business pay, less in tax as opposed to a specialist or an employee? The reason is because when you have more employees, you get what I told you about earlier, tax incentives and tax deductions or tax cuts. Huge tax breaks. You get them for providing jobs. That's how you pay less in tax. So it's like how I said earlier that the government has incentives. They have things that people just like you and I, you don't have to be a rich millionaire or billionaire to know about this or to do this. The tax system is set in stone, in place for everybody, regardless of your occupation, regardless of how much money you make, whether you are poor or whether you are rich. It is set in place for everybody. So when you go build a business and you have 500 plus employees, you get huge tax breaks. That's why those people get so rich and you stay so poor. So I hope that makes sense, okay? So moving on to the last one, we're going to be talking about investors now. Investors, like I talked about earlier, can pay as little as 0%. How does that make sense? That the people who make more money, and I used to argue about this myself, and I used to say, you know what, it's not fair that rich people can make so much damn money and be so greedy, right? We all say the rich are greedy. They can be so greedy and not pay any tax. How is that fair, right? But remember what I told you earlier, and this should open something in your mind for you. Rich people, the reason why they don't pay taxes, if they're smart with their money, they will invest their money into or putting themselves in good debt to get tax breaks. That's how it works. But the thing is that people like you and I were not taught that in school. That's the problem with our society. That's why the school system is corrupt. It's the most corrupt system in the world, and they're teaching people to be poor. They're teaching all of us to be poor, and it's the reason why you don't make more money than you do currently, and your mindset does not allow you to make more money, because they want you to be poor. So that's my job, is to help people understand that, so they can choose something better for their life than what they're doing right now, because I know you don't enjoy being at your job. You may say that you do, you may pretend that you do, but I know you don't like working where you're at. And if you do, great, stay where you're at. Stay there, don't leave. Stay right where you're at, because as long as you're happy at the end of the day, the best ROI, which is return on investment, meaning what you invest to and what you get in return, the best ROI is happiness. So if you enjoy what you do, then stay there. So these are for people that don't want to stay there. So again, when you look at this, where exactly do you want to be? I used to be right here at the E. That's where I used to be. Okay, and then I eventually started to move down here to self-employed. That's when I started doing Lyft and Uber. I started working for myself. I started paying more taxes in this bracket. This is kind of somewhat where I'm still at the moment, even though I'm doing eBay. Tax deductions and things like that help when you buy inventory or buy things. You're able to write a lot of stuff off that the average employee can't write off. That's the difference. Where I'm at currently, yes, I'm in a higher tax bracket than a normal employee, because employees actually get in a lower tax bracket because they're part of a business. You will generally pay less in taxes. That's why the self-employed pay more, like people like me. But you start to learn, and that's what I'm learning. You start to learn ways to deduct it, make your taxes lower so you pay less. Because what a lot of people don't think about, and even a lot of rich people, they just throw all their money to taxes. They don't care. And even poor people do the same thing. And the reason why they do it is because they don't have a financial education. They don't understand how money works. And the reason why you don't understand how money works is because you went to school. Not saying that school is bad, but school did not teach you how to make money, how to manage money, how to eliminate your taxes, and how to get out of bad debt and get into good debt. Nobody teaches you those things. So that's why I'm here to help people learn that. And that's why I say this video again is so important. And if you don't believe me, go look it up. Go look it up on the internet and go find out for yourself. All this information is true. And here's something I'll tell you too. Something that probably most people don't know. Does anybody here know? And you comment below. Did you know that McDonald's is actually not a cheeseburger company? What do you think they are? You know what they are? They are, and this is going to open your mind even more, I hope. McDonald's is actually a real estate company. If you don't believe me, also go look it up. McDonald's is a real estate company. They sell cheeseburgers, and the money they make, they invest it into properties. They buy homes. So McDonald's, the cheeseburger company, is a subdivision company of their real estate company. So because they have their real estate company, that's all acquired assets. Again, liabilities, assets. How do rich people stay rich? How does McDonald's stay rich? They have their real estate company where they go and buy properties. They're one of the largest real estate companies in the world. They own tons and tons and tons of properties. McDonald's might own your house. You don't even know it. So, McDonald's, like I said, they're a real estate company. So because they own real estate, those are all tax incentives and write-offs because they're assets. So they pay $0 in taxes. So that, I'm sure they also invest their money too. They put money out there for tax incentives to reduce their taxes as well. But McDonald's doesn't pay anything in tax. So that's the difference between an employee compared to a business owner or an investor. So where you ultimately want to be is down here on investor. This is where you want to be. This is where I want to be. I hope this kind of helps better explain where I'm trying to go, okay? I want to be a professional investor one day. I don't want to be an employee. I don't care to be here because this is the highest tax bracket you'll ever be in, is a specialist. Being a doctor, anything like that, you will always pay the most in taxes. And these people right here, the E and the S people, are not taught financial educations. You're taught to go get a job and pay tax. That's why they pay so much, is because you are informed that you can pay less. These people can pay less in tax. They can eliminate their tax as low as they possibly can, maybe even become 0% like the investors do, but they don't have the financial education to know that. Big business owners and investors do. Those people know about that, and that's what I'm trying to help teach people. That's why I say again, this is the most important thing you need to know, because I'll tell you one thing. Money is actually not money. It is debt. It is an IOU from the government. The government is printing money every single day. For example, when you use your credit card, okay? That money, when they say you have a $500 credit card limit, is actually not real money. When it becomes real money is when you go and buy something with it. So the minute you use your credit card, you go to the store and you buy or let's say you go to McDonald's and get some cheeseburgers, some food, you spend 15 bucks. Just like that, money is created. And money is created because that IOU that you got from the government goes right back to the money economy system. So the government is just doing this all day. Printing, and throwing money out there to everybody to grab. And everyone's like, oh, money, money, money. Oh, this is great. Money is amazing. And then once you have that money, because of what you've been taught in school, because of what you've been taught by your parents and everybody else around you, if you don't understand this, it's an IOU from the government. You will put it right back into the economy system. That's how this works. So I think we're getting close to wrapping up this video here. Like I said, I just wanted to kind of go into detail somewhat about debt and taxes. I don't want to tell you everything. I'm telling you just about everything that I know up to this point. But what I can tell you is this is so very important. And I know that I keep saying that, but this is definitely something that you need to think about, no matter where you're at in your life, what you're doing, whether you're working at a job or you are trying to build your own business like I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to build businesses. I'm learning about investment. What you need to learn to do is to try to get out of here. You need to try to move down here if you want to pay less in tax. And the reason why I said in the very beginning of the video that debt and taxes is more important is because that's where majority of your money is. There is so much money left over all the time because of money you put right back into the system or you put back to the government. So if you can figure out how to minimize your debt, get into good debt and get out of bad debt, and reduce your taxes from 60%, 50%, 40% down to zero, now you're living. Now you're making real money. Now you are making money. You're not in debt anymore and you don't pay taxes, so legally. And here's something I actually forgot to add about tax incentives now that I think about it. One last quick thing. Tax incentives. I don't know how it works completely, but what I do know is when the government tells you, for example, when you want to invest some money into a tax incentive, the government will say, hey, in this town of, let's say, Denver, Colorado, we need a hospital built, or we need a business built, or we need schools, or whatever it might be, homes. And they say, put in, $10 million into building this community of homes here. And when you go put $10 million into that, they'll scratch your back and say, you know what? Here's 4 times that. Here's 40 million, for example, just throwing a number out there. They will give you more money back, from what I understand, to invest in tax incentives. And how you get that money is from those tax breaks. Because you get so much tax breaks that it's basically putting money right back in your pocket. So I hope that opens some people's minds here. I know that a lot of my videos have just been kind of starting out a little bit slow, trying to really work the mind and get you to understand that there's something else out there than what you're doing now. But let me tell you something. If you don't think that what I said is true, or you think it's a lie, or you think that it won't help you or it won't get you anywhere, you're wrong. You really should look into it. You really should think about those two things, because no one teaches you that. And go speak to any other business owner, or speak to any other entrepreneur, or somebody who made it, some rich entrepreneur, and they will tell you the same thing. They will tell you that it is just as important as I'm talking about. And really the only reason why it's not important to a lot of people is because you weren't taught for it to be important to you. You were taught for that not to be a part of your life. You were taught the wrong thing. Go to school, get a job, get into debt, or get out of debt, excuse me, and let's say invest in the stock market or something, like you were taught those kind of values, and all of those things make you poor. All of those things are the reason why you don't have more money, if you really think about it. So I hope this video helped you guys out. A little bit of a longer video. I think we're at 33 minutes, almost 34 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. So again, start thinking about that. If you want to go look this up from Robert Kiyosaki, I just kind of wanted to explain it a little bit to you. And he does a great job of explaining it. So if you go watch his videos, he calls it the cash flow quadrant, and I think it's an amazing video. So I guess I could give some credit to him for this, because it's amazing when you really start to think about it. It'll open your mind and make you realize that there really is more out there. And I hope the more videos that I put out for you guys, I hope it will help you understand that there is more. That just you working at your job or things like that, or there's more to life than just doing that. So, I was even, I went out to get some food today. I think I went to Wingstop actually, and I remember when I was there, and I get Wingstop, I'd say on average once every month or two. We don't eat there a lot, but we really like Wingstop. Liz and I it's one of our favorite places to eat. We love their wings; they're bomb. So when I went there, and I, like I said, I go there every like month or two, right? And when I was there, I noticed that some of the same people are still working there, and I've been going there for the same location for about 3 years now, and I see some of the same people there. And you know, when you're younger, I guess when you're younger and you get a job and stuff like that, you tend to stay at your first job for a while because you want to build up a work history, and I get it, things like that. But some of these people, they're a little bit older, you know, maybe around my age or something. And sometimes when I, you know, I'm standing there waiting for the food and I see some of these same people working there that I've been seeing there for years at a Wingstop. You know, this is different. It's not like we're talking about, you know, working for Apple or something, or some, you know, Google or something like that. You know, this is Wingstop. This is fast food, right? And when I see some of the same people working there, knowing what I know now, I'm just like, man, I feel bad for some people sometimes because they just don't know. And the reason why you don't know is because somebody hasn't taught you. That's why I want to be here for people. That's why I'm inspired to put these videos out there for people, to help people understand that just working at a job the rest of your life that's not life. It's not. And you know, this experience that I've been through over the last couple of years has changed my life, changed my way of thinking, and made me realize what I want in my life. And you know, now that I know exactly what I want, and I don't want to just shoot for the bottom. Like I said, I want to be all the way over here. I don't want to be an employee. I don't want to be a specialist. Business owner, sure, I'll be a business owner, but ultimately I want to get down here to investor. An investor to me is the best place you can ever be. So I think that should pretty much, like I said, wrap up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that this video helped you out some sort of way. I hope it was very informative, because it's a topic that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. So I hope I explained it easily for you. If I didn't, or if there's something you want me to go over in another video, or potentially make another video about that kind of explains something that I talked about tonight more in depth, I'd be more than happy to do that for any of you guys. So if anybody wants me to put out a different video relating to some of the topics I talked about tonight, just comment below and let me know. You know, let me know what you're thinking. You know, leave me some comments. I do get some comments from you guys, which is great. Some of you guys comment, but I'd like to hear more. I'd like to create a community or something where we can all engage and help each other, and maybe eventually this will turn into a Facebook group or something, and help people think different, and we can continue to help each other think differently together, because it's the only way we're ever going to escape the rat race of just working all day. And I know a lot of you do, and this is for those people that want to escape that life, people that don't want to do that anymore, people that want more for their life. This is what you need, and what I tell everybody all the time, and what you need, aside from the financial education, you need that, but what you ultimately need is you need the ability to think differently than the average person. You need the willingness to think different than the average person. If you're not ever willing to think different than other people, you will always be the same as other people. So that's why I say that so much in my videos. It is very important for you to understand to think different. If you never think different, you'll be just like everybody else, and you'll stay working at Wingstop, like I said, that I still see people there working today. So I hope this video helped you guys out, and thank you so much for watching. Again, you know, please remember, think different, be different. Always be different than everybody else. Don't ever be the same. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you saw it on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. If you enjoy my videos, I've got plenty of other videos out right now. So, you know, like, subscribe, share if you see it on Facebook. Whatever it is, I appreciate every little bit of support that you guys give me. So thank you so much. I'll be putting out another video again probably sometime next week. So thanks again for watching, guys, and remember, think different, be different. All right, guys, take care. Thank you so much. Good night.